to another edition of Bucks Insider presented by DMC Sports Medicine. I'm Logan Buckley here with Bucks head coach Gary Parsons. And coach, the team was able to grab 2 more wins this past weekend, and they have now won 5 straight. Are the players starting to display the kind of focus that you were looking for in the last 2 games in the wins over London and Toronto?
Yeah, I think both games are good. We certainly got a little bit of help from the referee in the second one where he got a red card, second yellow, just before halftime, and I don't know if it was merited or not, so playing against 10 men in the second half helped. But we're getting goals. We're not giving up too many. We're not where we want to be right now, but we're not too far off, so if we keep working hard and making progress, I think, as the season unfolds, that, we'll be a good playoff caliber team, and that's what we're pushing to do.
Now, you fielded a couple of players who got their first action for the Bucks this season. Were any of them able to play their way into contention for regular game time throughout the rest of the season?
You're going to have to refresh my memory. Joey Dillon and who are you referring to?
Sebi Harris was one, Bobby L.A. was another.
Yeah, well, certainly Sebi's a veteran. I mean, he's been over in England playing in the professional league for the last 2 years. So that was just a matter of getting him cleared. We knew he was going to be in the lineup from the get-go. In Joey's case, he's been coming off the bench a little bit leading up into the Toronto game. We started him there, and he did a good job. So, the more he plays and the more opportunities we're giving him, the better he's showing us, and he's going to be a factor for sure for us. And then in Babielli's case, right now he's the same kind of forward Kenny is. He's a big, strong power forward. Kenny's Kenny. He scores a lot of goals, and he's been the goal-scoring leader of the Bucks for the last 6 or 7 years. So Bobby Ellie just needs to get in there and do his job when he's in there, and he did that in the game in Toronto. He got us a goal early on. Had a couple other opportunities. Might have been able to get a couple more. So he just needs to be able to fill that role and spell Kenny and do the same things that Kenny does. Doesn't have to be as prolific a goal scorer as Kenny is, but he's got to go in there and be a good back-to-goal play for us. Back-to-goal player, good in the air, and show up and get a few goals.
The team's next game is this Saturday against expansion team Hamilton FC at Borden Park. Rainy weather could play a factor in the match. How would those wet conditions affect the team's tactics in that game?
Well, I haven't been out to Borden Park to take a look at the field yet. The biggest thing with the field is it cut tight, and as long as it's not underwater and really soggy like it was down at Canton, that's fine. The field conditions, I think, are not an issue. We played on grass at Canton, we played on grass at London, so playing on a grass field is probably not going to be a big issue. My bigger concerns about Saturday are going to be player availability. I got some injury issues that we're dealing with and some players that are going to be out of town this weekend. So we're going to have to do a couple of changes in the lineup. And that's always makes you a little bit nervous when you got to move too many guys around. So those are my bigger concerns. They're going to be what's the starting lineup going to look like and what's the bench going to be.
And Mitch Hildebrandt is tied for second among all goalkeepers in the PDL with 5 shutouts so far this season. How is keeping a clean sheet in 70% of the team's games, as well as his play in particular, affected the guys playing in front of Mitch?
Well, I don't know. I'll answer that this way. Mitch's goalkeeping has been outstanding this year. And what it's been is it isn't that he has to come up with a lot of good saves or do something spectacular. It's just that he's been mistake-free, and he's come up with a big save in key moments. And he came up with that penalty save against Chicago was outstanding. But he's done a really good job this year of being steady for us and not making mistakes, and then coming up big in key moments that really uplifts your defense and your team. It's been exceptional goalkeeping for us. And it's not like he's got to go out and make a million great saves. It's just you got to do your job, and then you got to come up with that big one to help us when the time comes. And he's done that brilliantly this year.
Thank you, Coach. And there you have it, the Bucks doing their job so far this season. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Bucks Insider.